Let me give you a little brief history about the tree. The best that we can tell, it's about, well, it's several hundred years old. That's our expectation. Without coring it, which is somewhat destructive, you can't tell for sure. But some of the old city records and old city maps and old city photographs have pictures of this tree in. So it's been here a long time. Interestingly, it's the Latin name of it is Albizia simon. So it is a rain tree, it's a tropical tree, and it's withstood everything that's been thrown at it here for the last several hundred years. Hurricanes of heavy magnitude, and it's not just survived, it's thrived.
Symbol decided to go with what I would term the best of the best in terms of tree work, large tree relocations, and it's never a bad idea to go with some of the best companies that specialize specifically in what's happening on site. In this case, relocating a large, unique specimen African rain tree. It makes things a lot easier in terms of collaboration. It's a fairly small, well-knit community, urban foresters, tree relocators. We all know each other or know of each other. So it avoids a lot of those initial pitfalls and barriers of getting to know individuals and their processes. We already kind of had that relationship in place informally. It's just basically ratcheting up a notch. Rather than just a quick phone call, you're talking with these individuals on site, you're going over specific site parameters, challenges, issues. How are you theoretically going to get the tree from point A to point B? We get into all the nuts and bolts, but it makes it a lot easier when you have a strong team in place.
We root pruned the tree about 10 or 11 months ago and let it sit in place while it grew new roots, and it got a chance to compensate for what was going to be this big procedure, this giant surgery, the transplant. And it grew new roots, and we knew when we went back and looked at the root prune interface, which we wrapped in plastic, that it had grown new roots and it was going to be a very viable candidate. After we root pruned, we waited the time, we came back, and then we encapsulated it. So we put this girdling system, if you will, that holds the root ball together and provides structural integrity for the tree. And then we put this pipe platform underneath it. That's about 150,000 pounds of oil field pipe, thick wall pipe that we've hammered underneath it to serve as a lifting grill for it. So it's very similar to the grill that's on your barbecue pit. And so we're lifting the hamburger up, and we have done the engineering to make sure that our grill is sufficient to counteract the 1,500,000 pounds. And then below that, we have our lifting bags. That's our arbor lift system. And the lifting bags, each of them has the capability of lifting about 250,000 pounds. So we'll inflate those bags with about 20 pounds of pressure, and we will roll it, and we'll leapfrog the bags, very similar to how the pyramids were built. And the Egyptians rolled those giant blocks on logs. And once you get even a massive amount of weight up and you have it on logs and you've got it so that you have a more friction-free rolling surface, then you can roll it pretty easy. And we'll take this 1,500,000 pounds and we'll roll it with these excavators being the prime movers, and they'll pull it and push it. And we're moving it up to the river's edge, and this will be the central feature of a new condominium project being built by Symbol Development. Instead of knocking the tree down and starting over with little trees, this will be the centerpiece of their pedestrian park up front. And it'll provide shade over approximately a quarter of this site. It'll be visible from the river a lot more in the forefront than it has been in the past. It was stuck back here in the back, but now it's going to be the centerpiece of it.
Safety is a huge part of any tree relocation project, especially on site here. The first goes down to basic site safety, making sure that the site is secure, we don't have pedestrians, unexpected people wandering onto the site causing issues. The second relates to what's called PPE, personal protective equipment, making sure everybody has hard hats, vests, protective goggles, steel-toe boots when they're on the site, period. And then there's specific safety protocols regarding the tree relocation process itself. I defer a lot to environmental design's current procedures. They have a way and methods and protocols they use to make sure the tree is moved safely. I'm mainly focused on making sure the tree is protected in place, that they're doing what they're specifically saying that they're supposed to be doing, and if there's any unexpected issues, that I'm involved in the solutions process, more as a facilitator and a technical expert as needed, knowing that I typically defer to them when it comes towards large decisions. That's why they're here, that's where their experience lies.
We can watch the top of the canopy, and so if you look at the very end of the canopy and the leaves, those are the last things to get water and nutrients, and we can watch, and that's our little indicator that says, I'm happy, I'm sad. And this tree, we watch it on a daily basis. The tree gets watered 3 times a day. We'll come here in the morning and it'll be down just a little bit. As soon as it gets water, it perks up. That means that the vascular system of the tree is working. Its absorptive roots are taking the water we've given it and taking it all the way to the top. The tree's happy. The forester, who's been the city forester here for quite some time, will tell you that the tree has a better vigor and color than it did before we started the process. We've been babysitting this tree indirectly for years in terms of just watching the health of it, but we've been seriously babysitting it since we root pruned it 11 months ago, and we can tell the patient's happy.
Because of its unique size and location, this is the only tree of this size within Fort Lauderdale itself. And it's also one of only 9 Commission Resolution protected trees in the city currently.
I would tell you that when it comes to this very narrow niche specialty, we're the best in the world at it. And because it's a perishable product, when you go to get a heart transplant, you don't go out to the local doctors and say, hey, anybody know anything about heart transplanting? You do your research and you find out who the best is. And if you do much research, you'll find out if you're going to move something big, we're the guys to do it.